We're now going to take a look at how we can, with just a few simple mouse clicks, prepare a sheet of material that already has labels printed on it. These labels can then be precisely cut to size, for example, using a device like the SC32 cutter. First, we're going to go ahead and insert design. And in this particular case, this is a QR code that we use for our machines. If you scan it, you will directly access Secabo manuals. Currently, this is just a graphic and it's ready for printing. However, we want to add a cutting contour so that the entire thing can then be cut out. To do that, we click here on the outline tool. This opens up. We're going to select a 3mm contour here, and let's just take a look at how that turns out. Yes, that's quite enough for me. That really looks quite good, those 3mm, and I'll just go ahead and click OK. I can see that over here, the outline tool automatically generates a cut layer. This means that this specific contour, which I have just created here, is already placed in the correct layer to be cut later on. So I'm going to click on the very first button that you see right here, which is labeled as the plugin's Saga Standard. This action will then automatically place the necessary registration marks at all four corners of the document. Here you can also see a few more layers being created needed to control the entire system. Also a crease layer, which we won't need this time because we are only working with one tool, namely just cutting using the KissCut method. One more click on this button and we will generate a QR code for ourselves, both at the top and at the bottom, so that later on, once we have successfully printed the file and then proceed to insert it into the device, our goal is to establish a clear and accurate correspondence between the tangible printed material that is physically present and its corresponding plot file in order to guarantee that the appropriate file is used for the cutting process. We're going to select this graphic right here, and then we'll open up the Super Toolbox. And we want to distribute this whole thing here on the page. We'll choose autofill page for this. We'll use step and repeat. That's what we need. And we're going to choose a slightly larger distance here again between them because we want to make sure that between the contours there's also enough space. Provided that there is sufficient space available, then we'll go ahead and take 10mm and also for the very edge itself. And then at this point, we are going to proceed with the action of clicking on the button labeled Generate. We can see that it has automatically rotated the graphics once so that the space is well utilized. And that's all for the layout for the moment. In the next step, we'll click on Save Plot File. We're placing them here in the demo folder. You can see that a number is automatically selected, specifically number 14 at the very end. This name, we really shouldn't change it because ultimately, besides the QR code, it's the key to ensuring we select the correct file. So you must not change that at this point. The file name now will save the PDF so we can print it later. Here, we can actually choose the name for ourselves because this particular file is only going to be printed out. So I'll just take these label samples now, save them, and with that, my layout process is essentially finished. I can now print the PDF, insert the finished printouts into the device, and then the matching will be done via the QR code. I either bring the plot file to the device on a USB stick, or I use a hot folder function. That's done by clicking this button here. I see a small window opens up right here again, and then when the devices are switched on, they will also appear here. And we can then directly pull the files from the device using the hot folder.